All right. Hey, welcome back to the Go for CEO channel, ladies and gentlemen. I have a special guest. Man, this guy is on fire. Former boxer, just in the ring to going ding, ding, ding in business, So excited to bring you Mr. Danny Calafell from Triworld Inc. And, we're going to do the show a little bit different today. You've heard me interview hundreds of business owners around the world now in the Go for CEO community. But today we're going to go straight to the meats and potatoes, right? Kind of been changing a little bit of what I'm going to do here on the Go for CEO channel. So these first 5 minutes, stay tuned, stay here, stay connected, and take some notes because right away, Danny's going to drop some bombs. So, Danny, my man, welcome to the Go for CEO channel. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Well, hey, I promised the audience, and if you're watching right now, let's get this going. So, like in the ring, you got to come out firing. So, Danny, tell us a little bit about Triworld and why it is so effective from SME to Fortune 500 companies. I mean, if you check out your website, it is impressive to see the people that you've worked with, who you've partnered with. So, what can you do for business?
Uh, Man, we do anything and everything to scale companies, you know? You say what makes us the best? There's no other programs out there that we offer. There are no other programs out there that offer the results in a faster time frame and at a high enough result as what we have going on. Nobody.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit of a snippet, right? Enough to give us a little bit of juice in case someone's interested and they go visit Triworld Inc. And so what can they expect from you guys and how you do business?
In what way?
Well, I mean, so let's talk about sales growth, right? I know
Yeah.
all of us want to get more business. It's the end of 2022 right now, where it's December 29th as we speak. And we're going into 2023. A lot of my business owners that either subscribe to the channel, people that want to become entrepreneurs, want to help a business from internally, why would they work with Triworld?
Why wouldn't they?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
No,
I
I
love it.
mean there's a lot. There's a you know there's I mean it varies. In some cases they have sales teams and they're looking to maximize the best out of their team. In some cases, they don't have sales teams and they're looking to bring good, strong salespeople on board, and they need just a good, nice, solid hiring process. Know what to look for. Know how to grab people's attention. With the salespeople that they do have, what areas that they feel there's a bit of stagnance, or they're not really able to deliver to the necessity that company needs, and to the ability that they have. So like it really varies. I mean, whether it's in the follow-up process, whether it's in the in handling objections, whether it's cold calling, prospecting, closing deals. Like we always talk about, there's three, people talk about sales across the board, but sales fall into three categories. And each category is, like we talk about it, what I like to say is, it's like driving three different vehicles: an airplane, a boat, and a car. Or you know what? Let's make it more difficult: an airplane, a boat, and a motorcycle. Okay. So just because you know how to fly an airplane doesn't mean you know how to drive a motorcycle. Just because you know how to drive a motorcycle doesn't mean you know how to drive a boat.
Mhm.
So, when we talk about sales, you have negotiating, you have closing, and you have the prospecting part, which is the sales part. And each of those areas are completely different areas. So sometimes you go in a company and you got some real strong closers, you got some real strong negotiators, and you got some real strong openers. We go in there and we teach everybody how to be everything.
So it's a well-rounded, you take that individual and kind of sharpen the edges so that they can be
Yep.
good in different areas. All right. So
Yep.
yeah,
So
help
we
me on.
train, just
Go ahead.
just to let you know, just to clear that up. So we train in two ways. On this is on the sales training side. Like I was telling you earlier, we have over 20 different services that fall under three categories, which is sales training, marketing, and business programs. On the sales training side, so we train in two ways: live and online. We have the online platform, which is Carter University, and it's all combined together between workshops, boot camps, workbooks, um, everything that we do, you're looking at a little over, I'm up to about 4,022 courses
Hmm.
and
Wow.
growing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and growing. So
Nice.
immense amount of information there.
So, I got caught my ear because I did a video on this a while back on a follow up, right? And I think a lot of salespeople, if we go down that rabbit hole right now, um, forget that it takes 5, 7, 8, 10 touches, right, to be able to connect with someone where they finally give you a chance, right? It's not always a one call close, right? In most businesses, you can't really want. I remember selling magazines when I was like 19 years old, telemarketing it, so that was a one call close most of the time. But it'd be funny because we'd call those people 2 or 3 months later, even if they said no, and eventually it was like, all right, fine, subscribe to me. So give us 2 or 3 nuggets within your program on how you teach people how to follow up.
Well, in a lot of cases, it's just reaching out. I mean, there's no secret sauce to it, right? It's just getting as creative as possible to just get in front of people that maybe, like, a lot of people would be surprised. Like, you talk to people, you talk to customers that you may have dealt with in the past, or you talk to customers that, or you talk to prospects that maybe you spoke with and they weren't ready to close a deal at that moment. Like, you'd be surprised, like, you give them a call like 6, 7, 8 months later, they're in a different place in their business. They're in a different headspace. They're in a different circumstance. Maybe they were going through stuff then that they're not going through anymore. They're going through something different where you pick up the phone and it's just like, oh my God, like, this is exactly what I need. Or in other cases, they forgot about you.
Mhm.
This is what we always talk. 48%, like, the stats are 48% of salespeople don't follow up one time, and 80% of transactions take place after the fifth attempt.
Mhm.
So, I mean, in a lot of cases, again, I mean, how many times has this happened in your case? I'm sure, where, you reach out to somebody and they're like, okay, we're not ready yet right now. And then come like a couple of weeks or a month later, they end up buying from somebody in your same industry that's offering the same thing you offer, and maybe even in a more expensive price. And you're like, man, what happened? Why didn't you come to me? Oh man, I forgot about you.
Well, I got a perfect story. I have a client that I did a line of credit for. It's a home healthcare business. He's going to buy another company to acquire another company. Calls me up and says, "Hey, John, can you guys take a second position lien, subordinate for the loan that you have?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I'm trying to buy this other company." I go, "Well, Al, like, that's what I do." He goes, "Oh, John, I totally forgot." And I hadn't talked to him in a couple months. So you're completely right. And it's so funny because I had just closed the line of credit with him maybe 3, 4 months ago. And sometimes, yeah, you miss base, or if you are emailing, you're not emailing correctly, or the subject line isn't capturing them, or you didn't catch them live, right? So awesome stuff, man. So really cool. And you're right. I mean, there is no secret sauce per se, but there is a secret of activity, right? And how
Yep.
they keep on doing the same activity. So help
So
us
we have,
understand. Go ahead.
like, so yeah, so we have three, inside of the program, we have 365 days of follow-up, um, for unsold customers, and for sold customers, 2 years of follow-up
Hmm. Wow.
to get them
Now
resold.
that's pretty awesome. So I guess, can you give us an example of 2 of them?
Okay. All right. For which one?
For the unsold one, I'd love to hear the unsold one.
Well, here's the thing, right? The three common, uh, follow-up, you could say, word tracks per se, when people normally call, is like, hey, how you doing? Checking in, or hey, listen, have you thought about what we talked about? Are you ready yet? Or during tax season, because that's when everybody starts, really getting excited because people start getting those checks. They're like, hey, listen, it's tax season. You ready to spend the money?
Yeah.
So, what we do is we encourage people, and we show people ways to get creative, like, sending videos, not only relying on just one way to follow up with a customer, whether it's email, whether it's text, whether it's a phone call, whether it's leaving a message, whatever the case is. I mean, I've called people 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a day, leaving messages, filling up their voicemail box. So,
I
you
love
know,
it.
and the way we look at it is, I mean, at the end of the day, if you know, if they complain about that and that's the reason why it blows a deal, it wasn't a deal to begin with.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. I mean,
So
I think, what you're saying is really you're dropping value each time, right? It's not like you're just like you said, if you're just calling to be like, hey, I'm just checking in, that check in for that person is like, yeah, whatever, tell me something that I don't know, or tell me something that could bring me value, right? So awesome stuff, man. So let's get into, the part where I saw you and your dad, are in the executive team and, started Triworld. So tell us a little bit about kind of what you guys were formulating in your mind when you thought of just the concept of it. How did you get into the program or into the business world of consulting, those types of things? Because I did mention you were a boxer, right? And a good one at that. So how does a boxer, right, a mentality of grinding it in the ring, take it to the business world?
man, you know, I this was done by accident, to be honest with you. So
Mm,
I'll take you back. During my boxing career, obviously, I got to know a lot of many different celebrities, like some of the biggest celebrities in the world, and built real good relationships, like beyond the, hey, just hanging out in the club type thing. No, like, real like family, like, meeting their family, having dinner, going to the house, spending time, just talking about, history and life and everything outside of stuff, just like, and those relationships became very powerful because it got me to get to know a lot more people and learn a lot more and be placed in areas that I would have not been able to be placed had I not known those group of people, or those types of people, or been in those type of environments, or invited to those type of parties and so forth. And that got me to when um, I was at an event, and I'm not going to name drop. I was at an event, and it was a big concert down here in Miami, and we were backstage in an RV, and uh, camera guy comes up and starts taking pictures. Saw that I was a boxer, and we just got to talking and everything. He had a media company at the time, and he was looking to like do like a side project on a record company. And I was like, man, like, when I was a kid, I played 5 instruments by ear before I learned how to read music. And I got all the contacts like in the music industry, just because like that's primarily, like when I mentioned celebrity, like that's primarily the route that I went. Cause at the time that I was boxing, I was also involved in club promotions, where we were the biggest club promotion company down here in Miami,
wow.
or South Florida. Like all the big artists would come. We were responsible for bringing them down. There were some artists that hadn't even visited Miami before we brought them down, and we'd have big events, like parties like crazy, where fire marshals would have to come out because we had so many damn people in there, and it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people, and that was my start of networking. My thing was just like, hey, I'm at that time I wasn't even a pro yet. Like I was fighting amateur, and I was just like, hey man, look, I'm getting ready to turn pro, and is there something that we can do together, where maybe like a sponsorship or something like that? And they were game, and they were like, hey man, just have a drink and we'll talk about that. Take my number whenever I'm in town, and we'll make stuff happen. And one thing led to another, so I used all those contacts, and I went through with the record company, had the record company, and just started making all those phone calls and reaching out to all my friends and people they knew, and we had a talent search down here, one of the biggest. Was for 450,000 record contract, and I mean I had a lot of people involved. I had relationships with some of the biggest record companies at the time. All my friends working, and uh the problem with that was, like, we were small. Like I branched out and I did my own thing with the music business, and uh a lot of people don't understand, like these bigger companies, they have what you call stables. So they'll sign about 1,000, 2,000 artists inside of their company,
Mhm.
but they're not funding and they're not putting a lot behind the artist until the artist proves himself. Because I mean, it's an investment at the end of the day. So they're like, all right, well, if this guy proves himself or this girl proves herself, and they're able to showcase like everything that they're doing, and they're able to do stuff without our help and just our name behind them, then we'll start believing in them more, and then we'll start pushing some funds behind them, right? And that's how the music business works. I mean, there's a lot more mechanics in it. Now, with a small company like I had, where we only had like 5 or 6 artists, like, and regardless if they were super talented, like if those guys don't show up, if those guys don't, operate at the level that I need them to operate, doesn't matter who I know, doesn't matter the connections I have, doesn't matter what it is that we have going on, it's not going to fly and it's not going to work. And that's what frustrated me the most, is that, a lot of money went into it, a lot of time. I learned it. I learned a lot, and it was just it wasn't worth it. And what made me not stop, but put it really on the back burner, was I hated the idea that I had to rely on other people in order to have, what it is that I knew that I can have. So I was like, all right, well, there's got to be another way. And then that's when I shifted a little bit more towards corporate business. My father at the time, I mean, he's worked with some of the largest companies in the world, been involved in mergers and acquisitions. He's negotiated huge. I know you saw his bio. He's negotiated like, huge deals, like $500 million companies, and just big stuff. And my other uncle was VP of ExxonMobil. So I have a background in that line of business, and that's, when I switched over to like that area away from the entertainment scene, that's when my father started jumping a little bit more behind me, because that was more or less his area. He didn't know too much about the entertainment side. So I just jumped straight into, all right, like, what is it that I want to do? And I was like, all right, let's do something where, like, and I can offer something to companies to really, because like I always wanted to help people. I just didn't know. I was like, all right, I got a bunch of information when it comes to business, but like, how can I use this? So I was like, all right, let me see. Maybe we can start offering services to people, like marketing and whatnot. And then, like, approaching businesses and approaching people, I realized, all right, I'm getting a lot of no's. I'm getting shut down a lot. I'm not really used to this, because like, other on the other side, I was able to just pick up the phone and make calls and get in contact with who I needed to get in contact with, and it wasn't a big deal. And
Mm.
here I am, and I'm getting slammed, doors slammed on my face, hung up on, and all this, and I'm just like, I'm experiencing something I've never experienced, like, well, I've experienced, but at a different level.
Sure.
And I was like, man, I got to learn this thing. So that's what got me to start learning about sales. I dove a lot deeper into business, and I started really breaking it down, like really understanding what the concept of sales was. Like, okay, like, why is this person telling me this? Why are they reacting the way that they're reacting? The ways that I react, how is that counteracting the way that they act towards me? And I really started like really breaking down the science of it. Obviously, with the help of my father, he's stealth when it comes to sales. And I hold on. Yeah, I fast forward, um I just dove a lot deeper, realized that, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it alone. And that's when I started working towards, solidifying partnerships and just working alongside other people to see, what it was that we could do together to make this thing a lot more stronger. And just over the years, just, working it and working it and working it, and breaking it down more, and studying the wealthy, and studying the way things, move, and how a business really from the small scale to the large scale, how they really function and operate, and the mechanics of it and everything. And going forward, now I got over 100 people on my team. And we're growing. I mean, we'll do a little over 4 million this year. Just that's
Nice.
that's I mean, I got, like I said, I went from, look, before I partnered with Grant Cardone, little close to like 4 years ago. It's my partner and I. We went to an event, and I obviously brought my father. He's VP of my company. My father, he's the VP, and went to an event, and I was like, "What do you think of this guy?" Because I always, let me touch on that for a second. I want to work with the best. The reason I want to work with the best is because I want to offer the best to my customers. And a lot of people want to work with me. A lot of people want to partner with me, but I shoot high, because it's just something I've been used to. I mean, since I was 17, I've been nothing but, or I'm wording that wrong. I've been around nothing but greatness since I was 17.
Sure.
Like massive attention and phenomenal people in their area. It's just something I'm used to, so when I work with people, I want to make sure that, like, hey, listen, this is the best. And I research a lot. So it's like, if I see somebody and I see they're really good at what they do, you better believe, like, I'm going to go in deeper, because I'm not just looking at the surface of it. And I'm very particular. So that being said, on the training side, for the sales training side piece that we offer, I was up to about 462 courses that I created. And I was like, man, how can I move faster and spread this out further without having to put the time that I know that it's going to take for me to really do this? Because I mean, it's taken me this long. Mind you, I've had this company a little over 10 years, taking me this long. And I'm like, man, how can I really stretch it out? And I was like, man, I got to partner with somebody. I got to partner with somebody that already has something built. And that's when I started on my search. And I looked everywhere, and I couldn't find anybody, because I didn't want to have to relearn stuff. I wanted to add on. I didn't want to relearn anything. I didn't want to redo anything. I didn't want to, everything I had was working. And I didn't want to go against what my beliefs are, which is straightforwardness, transparency, and honesty. I didn't want to do with the tricks. And that's where Grant was under my face the entire time. I've been studying this guy. I've been studying this guy almost 8 years now. Like, I mean, studying.
Yeah.
Like breaking down, studying, right? And yeah, so made the decision to do that. And now, like I told you, we're up to 4,022 courses roughly.
Nice.
And growing.
Well, look, I mean, you gave a quick little masterclass on, having developed a great strength in a certain industry, right? And then having to make that tough decision that this isn't kind of going the way that you want it to go, specifically to the success level that you wanted, but you kept all those great connections, and then you transitioned into the business world of a different capacity. And then you got mentored, per se, right, from afar. Initially, and you broken down, right? You kind of looked at Cardone's, program. You said it aligned with you. You needed a partnership. You had already done your own content. So what a cool thing to learn, Go for CEO community, that you could have a business and then start to look outside of your business, so that the partnerships that you bring in will add value, and you can have a transition so that your client can go deeper with that value, right? With that content. So awesome stuff. So help me understand here. Obviously you boxed, then you got into the entertainment and music world. The money, there, here and there, right? It wasn't kind of where you wanted to go. So then you start Triworld, bringing in your dad with his expertise. You said your uncle at Exelon. So what are some ways that you guys initially funded this business? Like, was it just internal capital that you had? Was it a combination?
It was sales.
Okay. So
Just sales.
how does someone fund their business, their startup with sales? Like it's an interesting concept.
You got to go out there and just get business. You can have other people. I mean, I talk about this all the time. Like, you get other people to fund your business. There's a lot of other people. Like, I mean, there's so many people out there. I did because I run meetings daily. Like, I'm not only with my team, but with customers. So like, whatever, whether it's the sales team or of the business, or we're running team meetings for whatever departments that we're working with, whatever program that they're on. And I one of my meetings yesterday, I talked about this. I was like, like, at the end of the day, you got to look at it where you're selling something, that person's funding what it is that you need them to fund. Like, people give donations all the time, but it's like, I don't like what's the fairness of you giving me a donation to start my business when I can offer you something in exchange for you giving me money that's going to create value for you. So like, this is the way that it's supposed to operate. A sale is made when value is seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when a transaction is made. A transaction is made when you see value in something. I see enough value in something, I'm going to buy it. I don't care what the price is, because the value exceeds the price. I don't care what the price is. If I see enough value, I'm going to buy something. You
Mm-hmm.
see a nice enough car, you're going to come up with the money to pay for the car that you want. And if you don't have the money right now, you're gonna work your ass off so you can eventually get the money so you can have what it is that you want. Unless you're one of those people that just see nice things and you're just like, that would be nice one day, and then you just give up. But at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So how nice is it where you could just go out into the world, into the marketplace, and say, hey, listen, I got something that I can offer valuable to you, and in exchange, you're going to give me money for it. And that's just the science that I ended up breaking down. I was like, okay, what's this worth to somebody? All right, it's this much. All right, let me go and sell it for that. And then I go out and I start. And I mean, like I said, when this was done from scratch, I mean, this was done from scratch. I mean, yes, I'm blessed and I'm so appreciative that I had, the knowledge from somebody like my father at the level that he's been at. But at the end of the day, like, he's extremely hard on me. And it's like, hey, listen, figure it out. Like, despite him knowing what he knew, he was just like, figure it out. So like, nothing was really handed to me. I would hit the ground flat on my face many times.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, and that's, they always say experience grows when you do the work, right? And then that knowledge comes back to you based on the experience that you had, right? Be it good or bad, right? And most of it is good because you're willing to learn from those mistakes, right? And then hopefully you're growing from the wins as well. So help me understand.
Did that answer your question, though?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's a lot of depth there that you just shared. I also would love to go into, obviously you start with you making the decision to change from the music industry to the sales, business consulting industry. You bring on your partnership with your dad. So you're starting with one, right? Yourself, technically, and your dad, right? Help us understand it and give us a little bit of insight. When did you start to then multiply yourself? And we'll go deeper into that, but what would you say it took? You said the business has been in business for 10 years. When was the year that you kind of transitioned into, okay, now I could transfer my skills to someone else so that I could duplicate myself?
I would say about 6 years ago.
Okay.
6-7 years ago.
So about 4 years in, 4 years in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and what did that look like to you? When you think about it, a lot of small business owners, especially, the 23 to 27 million, I don't know the number right now because of COVID that many got out of business, but there's so many small business owners, kind of solopreneurs per se, or maybe 1 or 2 man shops, right? That never get to the point where they take and transfer their skills. The blinds salesman guy that owns his own business, the car repair, guy, the carpet cleaning guy, right?
I'm looking up the stats for you.
Yeah. So it's interesting when when did you decide, and what were the mechanisms? Was it because of the partnership, like let's say you had with Cardone, that you were able to transfer your knowledge into someone else so that they can then duplicate you? Because I'm assuming much of the team, of the 100 people that you have on your team now, have at least pieces of what you've been able to master.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, it's
Okay.
Depending on which area you're talking about. Which type of service, like
Well, let's
for
start at the
right now,
beginning. So,
yeah,
what did you bring on someone based on the fact that you wanted to multiply yourself, or did you bring on someone to extend the services that you
extend
were
the
offering?
services. It was really to extend the
Okay.
services that I was offering.
Okay. So then I guess let's take it to another way so that we could learn from you. When you're trying to extend a service based on the fact that you've been doing something for 3 or 4 years, but now you want to extend the service, you said you go deep on people. So was it a challenge to interview these types of people to extend the service? Was it an employee scenario, or was it a partnership scenario that extended the services?
All of the above. All of the above. I
Okay.
tried everything. Like, I mean, when you don't, you know, when you don't know, you just don't know. Like, you just gotta figure it out until you get it. And
Mhm.
that's the part that people don't hear about. This is the part that people don't talk about. It's like it's not easy. This is why a lot of people give up. This is why a lot of people don't make it,
Mhm.
because they're not willing to push through. And it's not easy. I mean, I don't know how to look. I don't know how to do all this stuff behind, marketing and all that. I'm a business guy, I'm a sales guy, and I'm a strategic guy. You put me in a company, within 5 minutes, I'll break the business down and tell you exactly what it just off of certain questions I'm asking.
Sure.
Um, but when it comes to actually doing the marketing itself, I don't know how to do that stuff. I need people that know how to do that and put them in place so they can take care of that. And that's where that comes in. Like, if it comes to sales, yeah, I'll do a master class on sales. I'll do a master class on business. But to go in and focus on the areas that I don't know, I'm not gonna. And that's what I mean as far as the honesty and that level of integrity. You have some people where they're like, yeah, 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 I'll get it taken care of. Yeah, but you can't, because you don't know how.
Mhm.
And I understand yeah, I'll get it taken care of, and then you figure out a way to do that. Yes, but you're still not saying that you're going to do it. You see, you're going to say you're going to get it taken care of, or yes, I'll handle it, or yes, okay, yes, I'll do it, but I'm not doing it. I'm not going to take somebody's money and say, yeah, I know everything I'm doing, just trust me. And then I'm going to go behind, and I'm going to try to play around with SEO and all the other digital marketing areas. I don't want to. Like, that's not something that's not something I know how to do, and I'm not going to charge somebody money for that. It's
Mhm.
just it's not, it's unethical. You know. So that's what I mean. But to offer at the level that I wanted to offer, yes, I needed people who knew exactly what it was that they were doing.
Interesting. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I get the kind of the line of sight, right? Keeping the integrity and the transparency and the honesty that you talked about, and then being able to focus in on who you bring into the team that has that skill set, right? To be able to then grow that part of the business. So, awesome, awesome. So, let's go, a different direction, right? When you're sitting down with these initial inquiries, right? Businesses are inquiring on Triworld, or your network is, been so vast now that you're kind of just bringing in people. How do you handle that initial conversation? Is it through a team right now, or do they go right to you? Are you still really involved in that initial process to then, delegate to the people that are on your team? How does that work?
That's exactly what it is. Yes, I'm very involved.
Okay.
Um, you know, I I mean, I'm on the phone, I'm prospecting, I'm talking to people, I'm closing deals. Like, that's I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. Before COVID, I had four people working out of another office. and sales guys. And COVID hit, and I had to take that down. So now I'm bringing on more sales guys now, and it's me. I'm rocking and rolling among the business that we're taking care of, and um that we're servicing right now. Like on fulfillment side, apart from that, all the new business, I'm having to keep rocking and rolling,
Okay.
and it won't stop until I get busy enough where I'm not going to be able to do that. Like, it's already at the point now where I'm so busy running meetings, running team meetings, just all over the place with everything, where I can't prospect to the degree that I know that I would like to. I'd love to sit down all day and just make phone calls and reach out to people and talk to people, and like, I love that, but like, it's who I am,
Yeah.
right? But I don't have the time anymore. So like, now that I don't have the time, I'm like, all right, well, I need people in. I need people in to handle that for me.
So would you say that how are you going to transfer, or how have you transferred in the past those skill sets when you find someone that kind of matches the enthusiasm, the energy, the desire to be at your level?
Um, well, the transfer happens over time. Like,
Mhm.
in the beginning, it's just like, hey, go out and see what you can do. We open up everything to our guys, like, I mean, training, everything like that. So like, I'm 100% in supportive with whoever it is that I bring in. But at the end of the day, I can't hold somebody's hand, and I can't make them do what it is that I know that's possible, because I do it.
Mhm.
And that's what gains me so much respect, is that I'm walking the walk. It's not like I'm just the maestro with the stick and telling them to do. Like, I've played every single instrument. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
I played every instrument. I'm playing the instrument. So it's like, when I'm tapping my stick on the stand and I'm like, hey, you do this, it's a respect level now, because it's like, okay, this guy's like, he's doing it. So if he can do it, that means I can do it. And if I don't do it, then I might as well just walk out and not come back.
Nice. Yeah. No, it's a total leadership position, right? Being able to be in the field and also sharing, kind of how to, show coaching, right? Show coaching what you're already doing. So sweet. Let's get into the last part here. A lot of times, I'm going to end the Go for CEO interview here, even though we started with some sizzle, kind of the same way, right? So we talk about CEO, right? C is client experience. E is engagement, right? And it could be employee engagement, it could be vendor engagement, it could be just client engagement, and then O is operational excellence. So take us through what Triworld and your team, and how you've been able to develop the client experience. And it could be 2 or 3 points high level, but help us understand why Triworld really kind of makes a difference, and there's a differentiator when you talk about client experience.
Well, like, at the end of the day, the experience comes from, like, look, customers, when you buy something, your experience is going to be to the degree of not only how well you were treated, but whether what you got is actually going to work the way that it was described to you.
Mhm.
That's the experience, period. And that's the biggest problem for customers, is, when I buy something, am I going to get what it is that I actually paid for? Is what the person sold me really going to do for me what they said it's going to do? So when you talk about experience, like, everything we say, we have stats, we have proven concepts, we have track records, like everything's there. And that's why I said from the beginning, like, it's not an overstatement when I say, like, there is nobody out there that offers what we offer, okay, at a high enough level. I'm talking about as far as result wise, at a high enough result in a faster time frame than what we offer? Nobody. You know, the only reason why a lot of these bigger companies, and I say this all the time, you're like, oh, well, what about the bigger guys that are doing billions? Well, they're doing billions because, you know, I mean, they have more employees and they've been around longer. But it doesn't mean listen, again, I'm not going to throw names out there, but I've done stuff with some big guys. I mean, in the billions. Matter of fact, one of the partnerships I have, the company did last year, 3.5 billion. And like they're not as intact as a lot of people think as far as like, you know, models. Like they're operating off of the same model they operated off of 30 years ago. But they make up for it from the amount of staff that they have. When you have over 3,000 employees, like, you know, and you got millions of customers. I mean, if 5,000 customers fall off, you pick up another 5,000 that same day. You know, so like that's where it makes up. But when you're talking about to the level of degree that I'm talking about here, especially touching on, you know, small, medium, and even going into a little bit of the larger businesses, like these guys don't touch us when it comes to what it is that that we do result wise and service wise. So when you talk about the experience of a customer, that's where the experience comes in. It's like, hey, you know what? These guys are the real deal. Like they're not just blowing smoke up, you know, they're just not blowing smoke. Like these guys really, like they don't only talk about what they're going to do for us, but they're doing it.
Delivering the goods. I love it. I love it. So how about engagement, man? I mean, you obviously came from the entertainment and boxing world, sports and entertainment. You know, is it just your magnetic presence that is the engagement, or what would you say you've cultivated at Triworld that attracts people and that keep them engaged? Could be a vendor, could be a partner, could be an employee. What do you think is the difference within Triworld about engagement?
It goes right back to the first to the C, you know, because to the what was it for
Client experience.
client experience?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, you know, I mean, we just showcase, hey, listen, we did this for this person. Look what we could do for you. Is that enough engagement for you, or you need some more? Like that's what it really comes down to. It's like, hey, listen, we did. You want to be like them? Let me show you what we can do for you.
All right, but I mean, what? So I get that, and totally, I love that. Maybe I'll go a little bit deeper. So engagement meaning like what keeps people. Well, I guess maybe you answered it. It just hit me in my mind. It's like if you could show the results, right? Your vendors know the engagement's there, right? If you show the results, your employees want to do more of that, right? And your partners want to do it. So, all right, we'll skip to operational excellence. So, operational excellence. So, we didn't get too much into this part, but you know, you talked about you know, partnerships. I did see on the website Microsoft's of the world and Cardone and you know the softwares and the things that you partner with. So, what operationally sets you apart too? Like, are you using a Six Sigma system? Are you know, you've developed your own way? Like, what do you think, operationally speaking, sets you guys apart?
In what way are you talking about? Like, because operation can go in so many different
sure.
directions.
So I guess let's take the main one that you kind of started the business off, right? Sales, right? When you think about operations, you take people through steps, and it seems like you plug them into either the Cardone University and then some one-on-one mentorship. Like, what would be the way that you operationally take someone from 1 to 5? And why does that work for you? Because of the tools that you're using, because of the partnerships? Like, how do you structure that the best way?
Are you talking about like if we go like what the process is when we go in and approach a customer? Are you talking about that? Like if I'm sitting down with a customer, like what the process is with that? Like when it comes to sales, like
it could be. I mean,
how are you?
Operations is broad, so I get where maybe there's a little bit of a distinction, better way. So let's take that part. So specifically that, how do you onboard someone and bring them through your process so that operationally speaking, if you died tomorrow, like Triworld knows exactly what to do step by step to go.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you know, look, it's really simple. It's find a problem, solve it. It's really that simple. And I mean, starting with just like literally 2 services, now having over 20 different services that we offer, it's become, yes, a lot more broad, but a lot more effective, because it's like, hey, listen, I'm sitting down with a customer. So like, hey, listen, we're bound to find something you need. Like, we're bound to find something. Oh, what do you guys offer? We offer a lot. Let me ask you this question. And then I start drilling them and asking them, like, hey, listen, what do you have going on inside of your organization right now? Because like, I'm bound to find something. It's like you go to the doctor, like, for a checkup, he's hitting you with a little rubber hammer. Something's gonna happen. You're sick. They're running all these tests. They run all the tests to find out there's something that is gonna come back as a problem because you're sick. In this case, every business is sick. That's the way I look at it. I don't look at a business as being 100% healthy. There is no business on planet Earth that is 100% healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Every business is sick to some degree. And it's just, I mean, that's just out of my lens. That's the way I look at it. So like when I go into a company, I'm looking for the problems. And I find, and it's like they say, when you look for something, you find it. Or you look for something hard enough, that's what you find. So, that's my level. So when you're talking about like, if I was to step away or something were to happen or whatever the case is, I mean, that's the process. It's like, there's so much that we offer and there's so much that's laid out. It's like, you're going to find something. Nice. And what we have is, like I said, at such a high degree that, I mean, I don't care what anybody does with us. They're going to get massive results.
Nice. So find a problem, solve a problem.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome, my man. Well, hey, thank you so much for, coming on the Go for CEO channel. We're starting to tweak things a little bit going into 2023. Love that, you gave us a chance to kind of get into your mind, get into the way that you guys have been operating. So words?
We talked about this company. We didn't talk about the other company I'm involved with on the acquisition side.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna have to bring you back. We won't cheat the clients. We're gonna have to do another interview based on that company. So, what are one or two thoughts that you want to leave an audience? Our audience is Go for CEO. It's really the mindset of becoming the CEO of your own life. So it could be going from employee to entrepreneur, solopreneur, from solopreneur to business owner, from business owner to investor. Right, the cash flow quadrants that Kiyosaki talked about. And we participate in that with different ways and bring on different CEOs and founders and entrepreneurs. So I always ask at the end, any 2 or 3 things that you want to share with the community that you want to leave behind?
Just at the end of the day, it's just about just pushing through whatever it is that I see a lot of times people, they want to transition, like you said, from employee to CEO or employee to business owner. And it's because they're not happy where they're at. So they want to make more money or they want to do something, and they listen to the advice of all these things that are out there nowadays of, hey, leave your job and go do this. And it's like, I mean, I'm just not with that. I'm with if you're not happy with what it is that you're doing, figure out a way that you can be, or figure out a way that you can make more money where you're at. And if you can't make more money where you're at, go someplace else where you can do that. But, stopping what you're doing and going into something brand new, okay, starting from zero. I mean, it's not easy. And, if as inspirational, as not inspirational that may sound, it's also a bit of inspiration, because it also it's also letting everybody know that, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't have to go that route. Maybe it doesn't have to be that difficult. Maybe I can use the skill set I have, add a little bit more skill to it, go to another company, they're going to pay me more. Or I could offer this to another company and they'll bring me on board at a higher position. So like, I mean, that's really what I want to leave with, because I just see a lot of people making that mistake. And, part of being a CEO is being able to make the right decision. and we all make mistakes, and in some cases you learn from them, but you don't have to make such a drastic mistake where you got to leave something, go into something brand new, and it ends up not going the way that you really want it to go. We're all limited. We're all limited a certain amount of time here, and every move that we make, and every action that we do takes away from that sand clock, takes away from that time. And I'm very big on that. So I try to make very fast and like quick decisions. So that way it's like, all right, this doesn't work. Let me get the hell out of this. Let me go someplace else, because I'm just constantly keeping track of that time. So that's what I would leave everybody with. Just make sure that whatever it is that you're looking to get into, like, you either know about it, or you don't end up going into a direction just because everybody's saying do that.
I love it. I love it. I didn't say at the beginning, I typically been doing so. John the Bomb, building others means business, right? Is the acronym that I use on Clubhouse where we met. And that pearl of wisdom right there is deep. So the last probably minute and a half, I'll probably make it a YouTube short, that specific 15 seconds where you talked about that sand clock, man. That's awesome. So thank you so much for that. Any way that people can get a hold of you, online, social media, what's the best way to get a hold of the company, all that type of stuff?
I always say this, man. All they got to do is Google my name. I come up on like 5, 6. Man, I'm 20 years doing this, man.
All right. Well, hey,
they could Google me, and they'll find all my info there, and everything about me. Research me. Don't just take this interview and run with it. Like, really look into who I am, what I have going on, what I'm working on, what I'm doing. And shout out to John the Bomb.
Building others means business, baby. All right, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much. We will have you back within the next 6 to 12 months about Triworld, but also you just dropped a bomb too about that other company. So we're going to have Go for CEO community. We're going to have Danny back to talk about the other business as well. So for now, thank you so much. Have a great day. Let's smash that like button. Become a subscriber of the Go for CEO channel. We're on Facebook group. We have social